My name is Nnamani Kenechukwu. I'm a painter. I'm also a writer, a poet, and a fashion designer. My art practice spans from an innermost need or a burning desire to express honestly and in bareness. I try to put my everyday experiences and the influence of my environment into my works. I also try to be honest. I try to expose what is inside of me without all the paraphilias of trying to hide and call black blue when black is really black. I just like to say black is black when black is black. So my art practice is all about my feelings or my current experience. This series that I'm showing today is a direct reflection of my life as has been and as is and as I hope will be. It's revelation of sorts of my most recent trials and triumphs and confusions and madness, so to say. So I'm a deeply emotional person and I try to transfer an expression of those emotions in my works, and I really hope that people are able to see it and feel it in my works, my feelings. I put all of it into this, and I really hope everybody is able to feel that, feel the hugs and the slaps and the push and the pull and the confusion and then the madness too, because there's a lot of it in my works, and I really hope everybody is able to see that and then see me do that. My current style, the use of color language and surrealism was deeply influenced by some friends. Yeah, one of them is Atinuke Macaulay Line. I first saw the use of colors as this from her, and then I ended up wanting to infuse my own persona into it. Other artists like Ayob Kingsley have also influenced me in my conceptualization of works. One of the professors here, Professor Honora Chijuk, he has influenced me a lot when it comes to expressionism and being able to just put myself on canvas and null out the noise. There are most of other people from history. There's Ilchi, there's Basquiat, and most of all Vincent van Gogh, mostly because of his fearless and timid madness. The way he was literally a mad person, but he didn't let anybody tell him he was too mad to practice art. I love that, and I try my best to not let nobody tell me how to practice my art, when or why, how or where. And then there are a lot of other teachers in this school who have shaped my art practice a lot. One that comes to mind now is Dr. Martin Okoro. He, for some reason, he inspires me to express freely. I don't know how to put it so you properly understand what I'm trying to say, but he helped me shed the confusions of what should be or what is widely accepted, and just do what is inside as it is inside. And I really do appreciate him for that. There are a lot of other people who have influenced my art practice, but these are the ones that come to mind now.
Okay, my name is Nkpadigbo Chinonso Jeremiah. I'm a graduate of UNN and from Enugu State. I've been influenced by a lot of artists. Meanwhile, my artistic career has been quite a progressive one, though starting up I didn't really have art teachers per se, so most of the time I was practicing on my own and just growing the passion, because it's something that was natural to me, something I enjoyed doing. So the drive was mainly from me at first, but getting to school and then here I was able to meet other artists who actually steered me up towards the right direction. There was a person in painting final year that time, the person of Peter Ibuaku, which was someone that I admired his works. He's into hyperrealism, and I really admired his works. And some other artists that were around then, Santos, Jesus, their works were quite expressive. Their play of colors and all that really inspired me as a young artist then. And growing, going through the emotions and getting different experiences from different assignments, helping building me one way or the other. And I started getting more interested in painting because it kind of like spoke my I saw it as the one that helped me easily express what I felt inside, unlike other art forms or other methods of doing art. So I found painting to be the one that I was kind of easily spoke or easily projected my voice, though I was a bit good in some other ones, but painting was it for me. And some other influences outside the school were, I think one time went for excursion at Benin. I met El Drag, and his use of colors was so amazing. It was from him that I learned that we can actually paint a dark background without using black. And seeing the play of colors was so amazing. And so sometimes I found that trying to create just with pictures sometimes is kind of too it's kind of end up being too literal. So I wanted to have some coded messages within the work or some other things that could help me still both make the work more aesthetic and also make it more engaging. You understand? And some of the symbols that I tried to explore was those African symbols, Uli and CBD, kind of trying to, pull the work back home. That's part of the things we studied in art and society. That was one idea I got from art and society, making your work to be able to be traced to somewhere. Understand? So it kind of inspired my use of some of those symbols, so the CBD symbols and UV symbols as well. So there were winning work, which I titled Back to Eden. It was a work I created in a moment when I was struggling as a male. The society already has a picture of what a man is supposed to be like, which to me I didn't like the picture. The male they projected, they might, be successful per se, they have the cash flowing and all the luxuries, but when I look into their personal life, look into their families, I don't see anything enjoyable about it. So it got me wondering, like, is this really how the male's life is supposed to be? Is this really how a man's life is meant to be? So it got me trying to dig deep to find out, before all these adulterations and ideas start coming, how was it, started going back, trying to trace back. How was the men from the 90s? How was the men, trying to go back to history. And of course, if you want to really, really dig deep into the research, you have to really go way back. So I haven't got to the Bible, which we believe is the book of all books. And that was where I got a better idea of what a man is supposed to be like, and it was way opposite from what is projected in the society. So the work was to draw attention back to how it was in the beginning. That's why I titled it Back to Eden. So let's go back and check this thing, because what we are doing now is not the that's the inspiration behind that work. So it's also a work that I want to use to encourage men to, invest in developing themselves in all round, not just getting money, and because that's what looks like the order of the day. You understand? There's other aspects of a human being that needs to develop, both emotional management and emotional intelligence, and so many other places. Because I see men struggle a lot with those kind of issues, and this was like a burden to me, concern to me. So I decided to create something. The normal image you see is a woman trying to get the apple, but now I decided to use a male, because the male, I believe, is the foundation of the home. So if we can get the men correct, I believe there are things we balance, because it's lack of men taking up their position in the society that causes all the mayhem that we see. Kids getting into robbery, all the women that are standing by the roadside begging with their children. If their husbands were, upping up their game in leadership, those things won't be there. And it's something that we're supposed to invest in now, developing them. I guess the women have had a lot of developments on their own parts. Now it's looking like they now lack men that can be able to, handle those women that already developed. So that's it from me.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Okay. My name is Nkpadigbo, and I'm an art historian and a curator. So I want to welcome you all to the second exhibition and the fourth presentation of the Garlands Award winners. Right about now, I will just brush through the programs we have for the day, so that will give you a perspective of what we are doing, and then I will give the platform to the next one to speak. Thank you very much. So I want to welcome the head of the department, Professor Bara. Thank you very much, sir, for coming. I want to welcome the chairman for the occasion, Professor Ikwemesi. Thank you for coming. And Dr. Omigwe, thank you for coming also. These are all my teachers, so I've actually learned well under them over time, and it's always a great privilege to serve in any capacity when they call upon me. Thank you very much. I don't take it lightly. Thank you. So, right about now, we'll hear the introduction and the general overview of the Art Prize and the exhibition from Boss Kwemisi. Then our special guest of honor, Dr. PJ is not here yet. If he is around, he will speak before the HOD opens the exhibition. We will have a few minutes to fill the exhibition with some light refreshment we've made available, and then we'll sit back for we will hear for PJ to speak, and then we'll sit down for the conversation, and then Professor Obara will now open the exhibition for us. The conversation is just supposed to last for 5 minutes, and is tailored towards discussing life after school for an artist. So in the panel will be the second winner of the Art Prize, Obina Eze, and then next to him will be Undoka, who will be talking about studio practice and gallery presentation as an artist. He is an emerging sculptor who has been serving under the American studio, long-term studio, and he has also exhibited both in Nigeria here and abroad. Proud to say that his first major exhibition in Lagos, or even his first exhibition in Lagos, was created by me at the Full Gallery. Thank you very much. Right about now, we're welcoming Professor Ikwemesi to the podium. Thank you so much.
Everybody, welcome to this second edition of this prize giving ceremony. We are talking of third and fourth, because in the first one, first and second were joined together. And that was probably 2 years ago, if I remember correctly. In this one, we are joining the third and the fourth together. The prize, as you know, has been instituted by Gerald Chukwuma, who was one of our students in Fancy. He graduated here 2003. Remember, it's one of the first sets we thought lived here in 1987, graduated in 1992, and began to teach in 1994. I remember he came in somewhere around 1998, 99, and he was one of those students who were close to me. And I'm sure he was also close to a number of other lecturers. I remember him working with me, working with so many other people. We did a number of trips together, a number of projects together. And during those days, he showed early signs of profundity, commitment, prolificity, if you like, in the kind of engagements he had in the studio. Because these days we talk about mentorship. There's no mentors. But again, you ask whether there are people who are ready to be mentored. You live in a time when the Okwote Keneze syndrome has taken over. When you say Okwote Keneze, most of you will go and be looking at jeeps to see which brands we are talking about. For me, Okwote Keneze is the philosophy of decay, philosophy of neglect, where people have no role models, they have no people, they don't have anybody they are looking up. And of course, when you have a society that is enveloped in roguery, thievery, it's logical that younger people will look at thieves and rogues as role models, and that is what is happening now. And that is why I talk about Okwote Keneze syndrome. You know, if you translate Okwote Keneze, it's not teaching. It is somebody who stands up to greet the king. He has no respect. Because when you consider his Igbo proverb, that when a youth washes his hands well, he is able to dine with the king. When you are greeting the king and you are standing up and looking at his head, there is no way you can wash your hands. There is no way you can dine with kings. That is what we have now. What I'm saying is that there is not only a dearth of mentors, you have dearth of people to be mentored. Everybody knows it all from their mother's wombs. So you have a crisis of both mentors and mentees, if you like. But people like Gerald Chukwuma stands out. Not only him, a number of them that we thought earlier, who are out there, who are making us proud. There's a few of them who are doing that, and it's quite significant that he was able to put up this prize 2 years ago, and he has been able to commit to it, for it to continue. It's also significant because we live in a society where receiving not even receiving, grabbing has become the cheapest thing of all. What people calculate is, what can I get? I'm sure that some people will be asking him, what are you getting from this prize? Why are you giving it? If you consider the society we are in, that is why we're in a spiral of underdevelopment. People have taken from Nigeria, or are taking, not just that they have taken, they are taking, everybody is taking, and nobody is giving back. So when you see a few people like this who have the spirit to give back, I find it very remarkable. Nigeria is like a bazaar. Everybody has come to grab, and they are grabbing it to death. And we are witnessing it. What remains now, probably, for us to recognize that things have gone terribly bad, is probably when families start eating their members. And look at us, say, okay, let us catch this number 5 in the family, kill him and eat. Probably that is when people will realize. But if you have any sense of discernment, if you have a sense of humanity, because when you talk about human being because you're a human animal. But again, there is more to human being. Human being is being human. Human being is probably the form and acquired what we see is human beings. So the content of human being is being human. How many people have it in the current, in our contemporary society? Sorry to say, we have animals all over, from the highest region down to the lowest citizens. Finally, part of the sky. Animals are living in human space. So it becomes elective when you find people who have a sense of humanity. It's not only Gerald that we thought wasn't the first, it's not going to be that. But I keep saying it is back that this started and it is continuing. So I welcome you with every sense of pride, every sense of mind. And I hope that those of you sitting here, because tomorrow we will be driving in classrooms, I usually say some of you will be artists, some will be students of art. That is just the reality. Those of you who will be artists, or even if you are ex-students of art, find it like a place where you are asked to do something for the arts, to do something for society, so that we can leave the earth better than we have found it, especially in Nigeria here, where there is a dire need for rehumanization, because the society has been so dehumanized. It is an animal kingdom. I don't want to use animals analogy for zoo, because even zoo is people side. Animal kingdom, where anything can happen. In a zoo, there is time to eat, there is hierarchy, everybody knows where it's or at own age. In the wild, in the jungle, everybody runs wild, and that is what we are. Sorry to say, all the investment, like, but I think I'm a reality. And I'm saying things the way I see them. This is the other significance of this prize. We live in a society where there is no reward. The good ones are despite, messed up, ridicule. Somewhere around here, a few days ago, somebody who had served as a director somewhere for 4 years, doing his best, planting flowers, figuratively, physically, intellectually, otherwise, but they tell you, they keep him in the ass. That is the kind of system you have. You have a country where the word is not for the books. Where you have these days people have begun to know about the word aristocracy. Aristocracy. But it is not only this government that is traffic been going on for long. So you have a system where people are not rewarded only rogues, criminals, fly by night, lawyers. Those are the people you eulogize. Even in the church, those are the people who will get sponsors. So it is remarkable again and symbolic that this creates a platform to recognize what you may call the best, if they are not the best, in faith in this university. So that's quite remarkable. It is not the only prize we have. There are the immediate prize given by the UP of Oli. There is the Babalola prize for the best graduating students. I know of those ones because they started in my tenure as head of the department. But I say boldly that after how many years? That was 2016. So 2025, that should be 9 years. I don't know whether up to 2 people or 3 have been able to receive those prizes. I went to Onitsha by myself, collected. It's not that I didn't want to be of Onitsha, came here, dropped a check of 2 million. Nobody knows where that money is. People are not getting it. I don't know whether Babalola was invited 2015 during the Anyafulu conference, and he said, take my airfare, which was 420,000 in those days. I'm sure that they go to America today, or come from America to Nigeria today, you need about 2.something million. That is hell. For those of you who are looking for hell, that's me. And Babalola said, take this money, every year give it to students, 20,000. Don't know if you take your calculator to find out how many 20,000 will be 420 or 20,000. I don't know how many people have received the money, the price. And you tell me it's not mathematical. If you have another one, let me know. So this is the type of thing we have. But good thing that this has been sustained because it is given from outside. The money is there, see it on the table. Otherwise, we put it in the system. The system will swallow it like a bottomless pit. So we give thanks to Gerald Chukwuma And I seize the opportunity to call on other students. We have other students who have made it, who are making it. You cannot be like a modern religionist whose mantra and language is give cheerfully, as if they are bottomless pits. You should also give, as you are calling to be given, give. So what am I saying? I'm talking about the politics of giving, which is what it is on that the world revolves. If we cannot give back, society will die. Mankind will run out. The world will implode. So as we go away, see yourself as a possible future Gerald Chukwuma, who may be able to give. It's not only what you can get, it's everywhere. At times you feel like you want to run mad. Because onye ọbụla na-adọkasịa Nigeria, tear the society apart. The other day I was telling somebody called me. I said, which part of hell are you calling from? He said, I said, we are living in hell. Which part are you calling from? If anybody sitting here is looking for any other hell than what we are seeing, then the truth is not in you. At least in the last 2 years. You may forgive the other one that has died. But let us take the last 2 years. If hell really exists, then I think we are living in it, and somebody in Asoro is actually playing Lucifer. And we have to acknowledge that. So let us make our world a better place. And that is what art is all about. The pursuit of happiness, the pursuit of truth, the pursuit of humanity, the pursuit of everything that is positive. As artists, that is where why somebody was able to make a difference in the other place. Institute of African Studies was not created 4 years ago, but an artist went there and turned things around. What did you get? The kick they ask, maybe characteristic Nigerian. I will leave you to chew on that. But one thing I want you to take away is that there is more in giving than receiving, and that the society, the perpetuation of mankind depends on giving, more on giving rather than on receiving. And on that note, I want to thank Gerald Chukwuma in absentia, and hope that more and more of our ex-students who have been successful or who are successful will do the same path, so that we can continue to keep the wheel of art turning. Thank you.
I want to sincerely apologize for the absence of the public address. Please, I hope we need to use our natural voices. Thank you very much. So, in the absence of Portuguese, sir, can I continue? Okay. So, I'll be calling in the panel for the panel session. So, first, I'll be inviting to the panel the last winner of the Gerald Chukwuma Art Prize. That's the second one of the Gerald Chukwuma Art Prize. Obinna, Iwo Obinna, Eze. Next, I'll be calling on a sculptor, a studio artist, and a studio manager, and the first resident artist of Bolonka in the name of Mazen Doka. And lastly, to moderate the final session is my humble self. I've just been doing this. So, welcome to the final session. And quick one is a very informal panel session. And the idea for this panel session is to show the student or to discuss what life after school is really beyond what you've read, beyond what you've practiced. And we like to select some artists who are also young, who are new to the industry, and their various rights to discuss within the next 45 minutes what life looked like after school for them and how they navigated it and where they are currently in their world. And the hope of this is that it serves as of encouragement to all of you in the audience to also find your path, especially to the current set that just graduated. Thank you very much. So, Obina, a quick one. Welcome. Can you briefly introduce yourself and what you do within the area of
So yeah, quickly, Obina is my name, or like you say, Obina is. I am an artist, and I majored in painting. Yeah, but I do other things now, so I can as well say that I'm a multidisciplinary artist, and I'm really happy to be here.
Thank you very much. Next number.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Kenechukwu. Okay. My name is Kenechukwu. I studied sculpture here. I graduated 2021, and currently I practice, and I will call it more like textile sculpture. So it's not pure sculpture, but it's sculpture on the wall. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. Looking at your life, this is roughly some years after your Gerald Chukwuma Art Prize, winning the prize and having the rave. What has been one of the most significant steps you've taken after that, and how has life been for you after the prize?
Okay. I feel everyone has to make their own decisions based on how they want to live their own life. It's up to everyone. So I made my own decision. When Gerald gave us the award, he said something very important. He said in pidgin, I might permit you to use that. He said, "Make una use Nnamani well." And normally you think it's the money, like this is common he gets, which was exactly what he was referring to. But then, if you think deeply about it, your money is also your time. And the first currency you have is your time and your energy. So he was saying that, and I really realized that if I could cut out as much distractions as I had, and I would be able to save so much energy for my work. And that award really gave me the momentum I needed to do other things, because I had the enforcement gave us financially. I was able to do a lot of things because I also paid attention to the distractions I had and the need for me to curb them as much as possible. So for me, I think the advice he gave us to use our money well was also talking about our time and our energy, because I think for an artist that's the biggest asset you ever have. So utilizing those ones, I've been able to move as much as I can, because I made a promise when I was living here when Prof. Chukwuma gathered us for a last just a gathering where he just made good meals and meats, and we just had this get together before we left. Finally, I made a promise that I would keep making art, and I wouldn't have a point in my career where I'll be like, I don't think this is possible again. I don't think I can make ends meet through this thing. So I had to put that pressure on myself, and like I said, we all make the decisions we want to make at the end of the day. I had another exhibition the following year, and Gerald was also there as well. So for me, I feel this award gave me it was the stepping stone for me to move in and do whatever I needed to do. But you can have as much encouragement as people can give you, as much support, but if you do not have that inner drive to keep moving, I don't think you'll be able to make it really far. So to conclude, I think my advice to the young ones who are here would be manage your time well and manage your energy. Curb the distractions as much as possible, and you can go as far as you wish. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Obina. It is my honor to welcome Professor PJ as our special guest of honor to the event. Welcome, sir. Welcome. So moving on, Undoka, leaving school, you went for NYSC, then you routed back to be a resident artist and staff of Noram Studio. So looking at that interface and where you are going now, what piece of advice would you have wished that someone had given you while you advice? Yes. What piece of advice would you have wished that someone had given you for the art world while in school? Looking at the way you then they have to come back to settle down with Noram and take off from there.
Well, thank you. Your question is the advice someone would have given me, what that would have been relevant, like something I wish it had been said to me before. Well, I don't actually have an answer to that because irrespective of what anybody says to you, the most important thing is what you say to yourself. So someone can actually advise you, do whatever I like. When we were in school, a lot we were saying. Yes. Many advice from the studio, from the classrooms, and even outside the classroom, there were a lot of advice from people. And at the end of the day, it still goes down to your choice and the one you give yourself. So I think at the end of the day, everything just goes down to direction. What you want to do with yourself. It still goes down to what art is all about. Patience. It still goes down to let's say bringing yourself down to another level of learning, because life in the academics is different from life in the professional aspect. So at the end of the day, you still have to bring yourself down to learn again, and then going inside the art business. Okay, let me say art practice. Yes, let me refer that. Going into the art practice is not exactly the same way it is in the academic aspect. So it still goes down to you deciding what you want for yourself, and then bringing the character that will guide you through that process. Because at the end of the day, it's still what you are able to do and what you are able to listen to. Because the advice is still comes in, because I'm still in the process. So there is still a lot of advice. I'm still very open to mistakes and very much of other things that may happen along the way. So it still goes down to you bringing yourself down to learn again. Yeah, so
That is bringing yourself down to learn again.
To learn again.
That means, in your own words now, there is a clear difference and there's a clear learning that you have to undergo after you leave school.
Yes, there is another learning
After school, and that's it. So you don't just take what you got in the school and say you have everything and you're ready to go.
Not like that.
Okay, you mentioned the art business, and both of you said have different approaches to the art business. For more of Obina, you've done the freelancing system where you are using social media to interface with the world and the art market, and that is the predominant channel. I'm not saying you've not done an exhibition, you don't want an exhibition in Lagos so far so good, but your dominant channel seems to be the Instagram and social media. How do you navigate that, and what would you tell to a younger artist about that line of approach?
I think I would say I'm lucky because I've been able to stand on shoulders of giants, people who have done really good things, and it's easier for me. I mean, it's easier for us than they had it way back then. After my first show, I think Noron himself collected 1 or 2 works, and some other artists, Ordinaka. So what they did was they shared my work and then they tagged me on social media. I don't think anybody here is unfamiliar with how powerful that can be. So that attracted some people to my page, and you just have to keep up with the advantage that you get. I feel that has been what has helped me. I wouldn't actually ascribe it to me being so skillful or knowing how to route it. It's just I think I'm lucky enough to have had this opportunity to get this award and to have an easier route because of those of them that have gone ahead of me.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Looking at Instagram, do you think that is the future for emerging artists? Do you think we should keep showing that? Because there is that scale of, if I show my style, if I show what I'm currently doing in the studio now, someone might copy me and push ahead beyond me. What do you think? Because it's like a vast space.
That's a tricky question. But then what I would say is you can show a little. This might not be the final answer, but there are things that you should not show. I think we've had advice of people who have told us not to show a lot, to show some of our works. Recently on Instagram, there was a rift between an artist and someone who he was accusing of stealing his idea for a particular design, and that was a very heated one. So for me, I would rather say, to be on the safe side, it's not. I've been showing the work, but there are some things that I would not show. Like I'll call them the blueprints. Some of these things I learned when most of the people who had their own argument or their own little battles say. But I feel if you are coming up, just show your work and don't think a lot about people copying or imitating you. You can always go ahead to decide what you show or what you will not show. Because you're not creating from a vacuum. You took from here, took from there, and most of the things I'm doing now are offshoots of the things I learned during my time at the TOS University of Honora, and most of the even down to the little classes we had there. I remember one, the art of making special. I think that class was very, very important, was invaluable to most of the things I did earlier on. So just pay attention to the little details and just show what you want to show and what you would not want to show. It's not like it's the final answer, but it's tricky. So I wouldn't want to give a final judgment to that.
Okay.
Okay. I think somehow a contrary view to what he said about showing what to show and what not to show. Because there is this thing with ideas. It's just there. It doesn't belong to you alone.
Yes.
You might be thinking something right here. Someone else is thinking something exactly that same thing somewhere in the US. Someone might be thinking that same thing exactly that same thing somewhere in Japan. You understand?
But then the good thing about this social media now is that you have the opportunity to show it first. You understand? You have the opportunity to bring it out first, and whoever brings after you is copying you. In as much as they were not even there when you did it, so it's an advantage for you to show that you have done this. Or it have happened on so many occasions that you are waiting to show this, and someone else have already taken it up and is, presenting it out there. So I don't see any reason to go back. Once your stuff is good, you are confident about it, and you know it's you go on. Like I think you witnessed something that happened some time ago in
the studio. Yeah. Not even social media.
Yeah, it's not even social media. That came around, and it's I was like, I now have to go back to my earlier reels and highlights, and I discovered that even before I visited that place, I've already posted this thing way back. You understand? So you don't just have to hold yourself back for any reason. Just do your thing. Even if someone comes up and it's a debate now, they'll go and check the dates. Social media, it doesn't lie. The everything is there. They'll go and check it if it warrants going to court. But if it doesn't, you are still a creative person. You're beyond the, how will I say? You don't have to. What you can create is everlasting. You keep bringing new things every day if you really are into what you're doing. You understand what I'm saying? Like, it just doesn't end with one particular pattern that you have you're doing. If you are stuck there forever, that means you're not even working.
Yeah.
You have to go for your thing every day of your life. This is what you're signed up for. You do it every day, and there is no way you keep doing it every day and you do the same thing. Once you come every day, you come the next day, a new thing was added into what you're doing. So I don't think there is any need to hold anything back. Just bring it out there. It's free.
Okay. So now let me ask you the same question again. Looking at your own career path, how have you navigated an institution in Paris within the major events, the Olympics? Last Olympics you were showing in Paris, and since then you continued also showing in Paris, and you've also shown in Lagos. These are the ones I know of. How were you able to navigate the art market to reach there?
Okay. Like Obina said that he had to lean on some shoulders to be able to climb. Yes, it's an important part of it. But the thing is, when you have shoulders, how do you manage to climb there? When you have the platform, how do you manage it? Because the opportunity will be given to you. How do you grab it? And when you grab it, how do you continue? That is where character also comes in, because in as much as you are a creative person, you are very wonderful, you create very wonderful pieces, but you don't have that character. It can mar you. It's possible. I'm not saying I'm very, very perfect in my character or something like that, but then character comes into play. So when you have the opportunity, you try to make the cover in ways, like for instance, you have to make sure that you stand out, and you have to make sure that you are consistent. So standing out is having your own path, and you have to combine both the creative aspect in practical and the creative aspect in the theoretical, because your art must have what it's saying, it's talking about and all that. So you have to make sure you start that. And then your character also have to play a very good role in leading you to wherever you're going.
Okay. Let us create a scenario that a student or one of these cells that has left now come and meet you. What would be, in terms of there's this panic always when they are leaving, I'm finding my style, I want my style. Did you begin from the level of, I already have a style? And what would you advise someone who has that panic of, I'm leaving school, I don't have a style yet? Or I know I want to do painting for the rest of my life, but I think I need a style before I go further.
what would you be advice to that person?
Even Gerald Chukwuma himself did not study sculpture. I just understood today that yes, he did not study sculpture. But he's a sculptor now, right?
Yes.
So it's just academics. That I said it earlier. When you leave the academics and you come into the real stuff, you understand that thing that even though you have Instagram while you are in school, even I was not really exposed to Instagram then because I was just more interested in doing the assignments and getting it done. But here we are, these learnings that were going on that I wasn't aware that I was dragging into this. You understand? So that studio life, that studio life, I was always, Sasaba always say that don't rely on this one. So when you think you have a style, don't rely on it. It's not really easy because you may just come out tomorrow and see somebody finish it, and you'll be disappointed, and your confidence will die, and you feel defeated, and you may not continue. You may not be able to continue. But when you are open to this is not it alone, there are other possibilities there are other ways I can use this particular painting, this particular medium of painting. There are other ways I can do it, even on the canvas or any platform that you're working with. So you don't just have to rely on I have this style. No. I will be open to new things.
Okay. So, Omina, last question for you before we have the Q&A session. Omina, you seem to have predominantly been in, if we were to do a recount of who the Stars School is known for, you are one of the youngest champions of Uni now. People who carry Uni in their head and say, oh, how did you imbibe that? And because one person is because I met an artist who graduated here in Lagos, and the person is telling me, oh, Nsoka students no longer seem to be Nsoka students, in quotes. You seem not to be really appropriating their work, especially for painters. What would you say to that in terms of your course of championing Umi? And do you think it still has obviously with your work, it still has a future? Do you think that someone else can drink from your well of experience without getting to the limit of it? Do you think it has a limited creative source if someone is to champion that course?
Right. So I think I'll start from our first formal introduction to was in our narrative painting class with Dr. Kwemisi, where he made us just draw out motifs and all that. I was never interested in it, honestly. So after that, I noticed something while he was teaching. He was asking us to compose most of the motifs in a way that it looks good to look at. It looks appealing to look at. And after that class, we became, because he's very passionate about this, so we became, whether you liked it or not, in some way you became interested in it. And then we made 2 more paintings. There were 3 teachers, 2 of them for exam. And he did something. He asked us to still submit the assignments, which was just to write out the motifs, just to draw the motifs from a lexicon of the numerous motifs that had been recorded in the past. So after that, we went for internship, and I was again lucky enough to be advised by Ibebe, who I call a big brother now, to intern at Professor Honora's studio, the top studio. And when I went there, I wasn't really thinking about continuing with it, even though I was really finding it fascinating, quite alright. But then he made me see it in a different way. He's great at storytelling. And he showed me numerous, he gave me I'll call it the Bible of everything that has been done around this idiom. And one of the most important things that he did was he was always trying to make me be in places where I should be. Like, for instance, I had a one-in-a-lifetime opportunity to be at the gallery here in Nsukka. So I saw for the first time real drawings by Ucho Keke, which is Italic handwriting done with pencil. And I saw other drawings that were done by people like Chika Okeke Agolo and a host of them. And my eyes opened, honestly. And to imagine that we have this potential, maybe I was the only one seeing it because of, again, how Professor Honora has introduced it to me. He introduced it to music. He introduced it like music. In fact, music was like the first thing we discussed while I was in his car on the way to his studio. But then when I saw these drawings by these other past exponents of this idiom, I saw so many possibilities that you can actually take from this thing. And since then, I've never drawn anything realistic. In fact, I think I've had like just one realistic drawing. I've gone on to just make drawings that were just lines. And I think I'm lost, honestly, because to think that you thought that this was not something people should venture into, because probably it's no longer profitable, that is stand. Yeah. But then you go in there and you're drowning. But you're not struggling to breathe. So I was there, and I just had the right people around me. I think Professor Ibrahim is also advised me to go and fetch the report, which I had to go to my mother's somewhere in the neighboring village close to my mom's place. I got the report and I was able to extract the juice itself. I tested it and I saw that most of the things I've been reading was actually real. That made me further believe in all these things. I was really being fascinated in it like a child. But then speaking about the financial part or whether it's profitable or not, I think that boils down to business, because when you go out of school, you find out that it's mostly business. I've had to be creative in my business. We are advised to swim against the tides. And I think I've been doing that to the best of my ability. But I'll let you all know finally that probably anybody who's thinking that Uli is no longer something that's viable or perhaps that hit a glut is not actually seeing the potential in it. Because I've tasted it, I've also exhibited works that were themed around this idiom. Indeed, a year later, after I left school, and the reception was, I wouldn't say I'm surprised, because I know what I felt, I know what I'm seeing, I know what I was creating, I know what I was going through. So if you're really interested in coming into this, like whenever I see students who are like, I've seen your works and I really love what you're doing, I always give them everything I was given. Whatever advice, whatever material, whatever thing they need to know about it. And then they go on to find their lines. Because I try to copy most of Professor Honora's works, and he laughed and said, but you have to find yourself. And then that was where it changed for me.
Okay. I remember me advising you to go and interview Professor Honora, and you were like, what are you going to do here? I'm a painter, he's a sculptor. I told you go and learn how to think. And I can proudly say that you are one person I gave that advice I'm always proud of saying, because you actually learned how to think. Professor Honora. And then, but what you said now has brought me to the last question I asked Mazi, and that is the fact of what does singing do to you? What does that inspirational feeling? You've gone for your first show in Lagos was with me, and you went there. How did you come back after seeing that? And do you think emerging artists should try as much as possible to see exhibitions? Because I know even before I pushed over the curatorial practice where I am right now, I went for an exhibition in Port Harcourt in 2020, and there I saw the exhibition. I was like, I can do this now. That was what I meant. I was like, I can do this now. And before you knew it, I don't know there was something called curator. I honestly did not know that there was something. I just saw the exhibition. I felt like I can do this, and came back and said the 10 for 10 started, and here's where we are right now. And suddenly persona 10 calling me curator. So at that point, during the after sports exhibition organizing, I had to actually go back to the books and look at it and say, what is actually a curator? And before I took up the title with my features and say, oh, this boy, I'm a curator. So lastly, what did that exhibition do to you, and what do you think, what's your advice for what's your advice on artists going to see exhibitions and how it affects their mind?
Art exhibitions goes both ways. Okay. It's important. Art exhibitions, it's important, very, very important for an aspiring artist or even a practicing artist or anybody. It's important in the financial aspect, and it's also very important in practical aspect. I will use a Limca, for example, because New Directions was not my first exhibition. Limca was on 2 occasions.
Okay.
The first was with my exploration, and the second exploration again was in metal. So, and it opened my eyes to the potentials of art practice, because when I got there, people from all over the country, there were people from all over the country, from Lagos, from all over, and you just see yourself on the wall, and you see other people, and you'll be like, this is not even much. This is my assignment though. And this might be somebody's year of dedication. And it's catching attention. People are really liking this stuff, and okay. That means there is something to it. I can do this. That was where the passion started. And my professor, he was the one that advised that we apply for those, and from there, that was how it started. And New Direction was not my first show as a professional.
The New Direction was your first
my
in the
first,
big city.
yes, in the big city. My first was in US. So, and when I went for New Direction, which gave birth to my first solo, so I didn't stop at school. I left school to other places. So it's not even about school.
Yeah.
I left school and went to other galleries to see what they were doing and to connect with artists I saw around me. And just discovered that it wasn't just about your art on the wall. It's about the people that came to the place that are even really without any form of recognition from you, that are really taken. Just by seeing you there in the shop now, or seeing your art there, they'll just use social media to, just like you mentioned, from that social media, they will take your advertise you, promote you without even you begging them to do it. So I think it's very, very important for artists to go to shows, because it will put you up in the business aspect, and it will also motivate you that what you are doing is not actually sad, but like it's world standard. Actually, it's world standard.
Okay.
But because you see it in your studios, in your dirty studios, you think it doesn't make sense. But when you see it in a very polished world, it's international.
That changes your mindset about it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Obina. Thank you very much, Nduka, for sitting with me in this conversation. And to our lecturers, thank you very much for sitting for the conversation also. Thank you. Hearing your students talk, I think it has a way of telling you that what you are doing is actually making impact. Even if it's only 10% impact you are getting out of 100, it's still an impact. So I'll open the floor to the students if you have any question to ask them before we rise and then continue with the program. Thank you. Any questions? Okay, one. Any other question?
Only 2 questions.
Only 2 questions. 1, 2. Okay, the first person.
Alright, good afternoon, my lecturers, and good afternoon, everyone. So, my question comes to the 2 people in the panel. I wanted to ask question based on your practice, and maybe when it comes to putting your work out there. You know, sometimes you see, when you come to Instagram, for example, you see many people posts. So how do you know? But sometimes I've seen where people say that sometimes your work is good, but you are putting your work in the wrong gallery. Then for outside, let me say outside Nigeria, sometimes you see many exhibitions that might not be true, or might just be some people used to call it commercial galleries. So how do you know the right gallery to put your work into? And also, how do you maintain that gallery relationship so that it's not after the first show, then that is all, that can just keep the relationship going? So that is the question. Thank you.
Okay, the thing there is the success of an exhibition is not really about sales. It is not only says that means if a gallery show is successful or not. My first show in Lagos wasn't really that one. Even in US, it wasn't really. But then you see that there were better new things from there, and there is no wrong gallery, my brother. There is no wrong platform when you don't have a platform. You understand what I'm saying now? There is no wrong platform when you don't have a platform. So anyone is good. It's what you get out of it. I went to an exhibition somewhere and somebody was telling me that the wall, my work is bigger than the wall. It's not like my work is bigger than the space. They are telling me that my works are bigger than the gallery. But then you have to start somewhere. You don't just wake up and start showing a white screen. You don't wake up one day and you just start showing with this presentation man in South Africa. Those people are very big people. You have to start from the small house. You can even start from online exhibitions. There is online exhibitions, virtual ones. So there is no wrong platform for you to start. And how to maintain your relationship with your gallery. Just don't be greedy. And you have to be creative. Give them new things. If you go today, you show this, don't go and show it again tomorrow. Even though it's still you, spice it up a little. You continue. And like I said, if your character is good, you're not greedy, they will keep calling you for opportunities. And from that same spot, you get more people calling you for all of you. So
okay, so from a cultural perspective, I'll say one thing, or I'll say two things, just basically quickly. I'll say one is for the open course you have, be careful of open course that have money attached to them, because most times those people are looking for money to give the prize. Don't even look at it. Have you seen it? So you don't look at it. So be careful of open course that have money attached to them. You understand? Because most of those ones are actually the milkers, in Posikime's words. Then next is, I would say that if you continue working, if you continue showing up, that's what we call showing up. Go and read Austin K's book, Austin Colan's book, Show Your Work. Keep going. Show Your Work, keep going. These two books, as an artist, go and read it. It has a way of motivating you to keep giving your work out there. Don't go to institutions with the mind of, oh, I'll make a sellout today. But go with the spirit of, oh, I'm showing up. At least I'm showing up. By the time you show up the 10th time within a space, you will see that cells begin to be naturally gravitate towards you. Thank you. So the next question.
Good evening, everyone. The name is Nkpadigbo. I'm a writer. I'm an author. I started the book. I'm a thespian as well. I studied theatre and film studies. So I might be acting in a lecture. I'm someone who is passionate about art. I love art a lot, and I am planning to go into the entrepreneurial part of it, the business part of art. So I want to know, I'm asking now, what makes an art a masterpiece? Because I'm trying to develop what I call 5-ray art that I want to promote. I want a 5-ray art to be the face of what I am doing, the company that I'm trying to float. So I want to know what makes an art a masterpiece, a painting especially.
A masterpiece.
Yes.
you want to answer. Okay, let me answer. What makes art a masterpiece? Well, I don't know what makes you a human or what makes you a thespian. I don't know what really makes you that, but your art is what you call it. And most times it's not even about the art. In the other level, there will be a point you get. It will no longer be about the art. It will be about the name. You understand? So you just have to be you. That's just the thing. You just have to be you, because if you follow trends come and go, and you will just be there. You will be stuck. Like I said something that you follow something and you can't follow it up again. And if you are following trend, you are following money. It's because this trend is selling. You want to follow that trend and cash out. And before 2 years or a year itself, collectors will shift to another trend, and you just be like, okay, you change to another trend, and it will be so obvious that you're just after what is trending. You're not after what you really want to say. So you must have a voice. So that thing that you want to talk about, just keep doing your thing. You understand? There are people that like it. And if grace may have it, there will be a time that you will be a trend. And you key into the oil money. That's just it.
So, do you want to say anything?
I think the idea of what's a masterpiece is subjective. Yeah.
Okay, so from an art historical perspective, I would say that all masterpieces, we are not masterpieces at the time of their creation. I've been studying Pablo Picasso, I've been studying Da Vinci. There is that intentionality that they say from the beginning, oh, I want to create a masterpiece. There is that intentionality within their own mind. Picasso was shocked. Oh, I wanted to create something that would shock you. Not I wanted to create a masterpiece, but I wanted to create something that would shock and stand the test of time as shock. If you study Da Vinci, the Mona Lisa that we know today was not even valued at its early stage by this thing. Where's the museum that is inside now? By the museum in France. Where it is. It was the Louvre, yeah, the Louvre. It wasn't valued by the Louvre. It was until it was stolen that it became a masterpiece. You understand? So it's actually the news and things that happen to the work over time that makes the masterpiece. If you look at the intentionality of Da Vinci to create the Garlands compared to the intentionality of Picasso to create the Garlands compared to the intentionality of Da Vinci to create his own masterpiece. What Da Vinci wrote in his diary to be his masterpiece does not even exist up to today, because it was born by the person who was the model to save the model's life. So what Da Vinci considered his masterpiece, you don't even know it up to date. But what we know as a masterpiece for him is that Mona Lisa, which that masterpiece aura was created because of the news. Even his Salvador de Mayon, that is the picture of Jesus Christ, is a masterpiece because of the story around it. So, roughly, what you call a masterpiece is simply you being intentional and creating your studio and allow time take its course. Thank you. So, with that, I say thank you very much, everyone, for listening. Thank you everyone for listening. Once again, my name is Kenechukwu. As we were talking, our special guest of honor, our special guest of honor was a few days award thing. Sir, thank you very much for coming. And I'll have about the program.
My colleague Chance, respected students, ladies and gentlemen, to be quite frank, she called me up to 2 hours ago. I happened to hear that I should do this, that something is happening here. There's exhibition, and this exhibition is to congratulate Lori of a prize that one of the products of the department, Gerald Chukwuma had instituted. Yeah, perhaps it's not quite fault of Ikenga Professor Chris Kwemesi, because he told me that he sent the invitation, I think, early today. But then I wasn't in Soka. Some of you might know that I gave my valedictory lecture, marking the end of my employment in the University of Nigeria, which I've always been at pains to say is different. That end is different from my practice in the in the intelligentsia. I'm still working. I only ended my employment with University of Nigeria, but be that as it may, my hometown had it, especially since the chiefs and other ranks of leaders within the community came here. So I decided I should be admitted into the highest council of traditional council in my community. I'm just saying all this to underline that I then have gone to honor that invitation, and it's a very, very elaborate ceremony. It's taking many days, so it ended on Saturday, and I came back yesterday night. I'm explaining how it happened that I couldn't read Jose Kwemesi's invitation in time. So it's only when he now called me on phone less than 2 hours ago. I sure you that I got to know about this. And then I said, you know it, that if you put art in a trap, it will catch you. So that's how come I'm led to the event. It's quite fascinating on many counts. First of all, we have held events here. I can't remember that we've got this number of people attending. So what is it saying about your department? Your department is what I've always guessed it is, one of the most practical, one of the most useful, one of the most commendable. And you know it when all this performance is coming from the people that are up and coming. We call them burgeoning artists. If they are burgeoning anything, scientists, writers, and whatever, it is those ones you call burgeoning that give the sign about the health of that specialization. And so it makes me proud on your behalf. So congratulations for everyone else, and congratulations for those who had won the Garlands. I understand they were the people speaking. And congratulations for the latest wearers of the Garlands. You are in a very, very, very important part of human sociality. That is what makes us human, that other life forms are not. I speak as consumer, if you like. That is someone who admire creative art, not least visual art. I'm not a practitioner of that one, but the other related, the kindred arts, I also contribute. But my core specialization is as an anthropologist. And even as that anthropologist, I also show interest in the visual art. Indeed, at the moment, I'm writing something for Ikenga and his group on the Kwondam, if not the very first national director of National Art Gallery. And I have contributed to some of the journals that are dealing with art. So I listened to some of the remarks that the eloquent panelists were making, and a couple of them struck me. The issue of originality. And I want to say that if you are practicing and you are not original, then your place in the art is very, very shaky. Very, very shaky. So you have to really make your mark by establishing a style. What I mean by style is where you create that can easily be associated with you. I will give you an example. If I go to any place and I see painting, even if it's not signed, I speak hypothetically, even if that painting is not signed, if it is done by Kenechukwu, I would say that is his truth. That is his boss. There's a man who wasn't produced here, but who practiced in a sister institution, a man called Nsika Asia. I don't know if you have heard about him. The same. There was a time, one Christmas, that I went to UNESCO's office in Enugu and bought a bunch of Christmas cards. I looked at it. I hadn't seen the signature. I said, that's Nsika. So, what point am I making? You must get to that stage. Somebody talked about masterpiece. Masterpiece also comes from it. So, someone who is an art consumer like me, and of course, one of the greatest wits, somebody who writes in a way with few words, he has driven his point home. A man called Oscar Wilde. I'm sure those of you who read drama may have heard about him. Typical of him, he says, be yourself, because everything else have been taken. That's typical Oscar Wilde. Be yourself. And of course, before him, somebody had put it in a more precise way. I would say, you still a below. That is to say, style is the man, I will add, and the woman. By style, we mean the way you practice that is just peculiar to you. Remove the style, remove that manner of creation that is traceable only to you. You are irrelevant. So if you go on copying, it means you are really wasting your time, because first of all, the world already knows who you are copying. That's number one. Number two, you won't travel far before you are discovered as an art thief, which you are. So, and you have everything to gain if you practice in a way that really establishes you as that man or woman with this particular style. You know why? The Greek summarized everything that human beings can do. And there are two categories according to them. You have the phronesis, which is about mere ideas. You know. Then you have the technique, which is the practice. So phronesis, one side, a technique, another one, and it's only human beings that are capable of this. They add art in the technique, and there is something interesting about it. They tell you, bios bracus, he technique matter. Bios is life. Technique is the act that I have talked about. So they tell you, life is short, but art is long. What it means is, if you have achieved art that is art, definitely is going to outlive you. So, I'm happy that the Garland wearers, maybe they are not the only significant one in the room. They just happen to be the one we have discovered so far. But be it as it may, both those whom we have already discovered and given the Garlands, and those that are equally as competent, as creative, but we are yet to discover them. They can be discovered at this level. They can be discovered at certain higher level. But all of them have something in common, which is they are moving towards that line which will definitely create the masterpieces that my friend had asked about, and they are creating that art that will continue to refer back to them, no matter how long they have lived before they go. Somebody has talked about Victor Hugo, Da Vinci, and all of them. You can see, is their art not long? Their art is long enough to outlive them. So I don't think anything that happens in nature is a mistake. So I'm glad I'm hearing the name with all due respect and with all due apologies of Gerald for the first time today. But I want to make the point that those of you non-Igbo, the surname of that eponym of this prize, Chukwuma, means God knows. Fine. And my reading of it is to say, God knows why he gave someone like that to this locality to promote what nobody else was doing before he came along. God knows why he gave you some of the finest teachers of art that Africa can boast of. I know many of them, but to go mentioning them one by one will be an impossible task for me. You know the reason? Because I cannot exhaust it. I can only say that God knows why they are the ones he gave to us, and we are happy, we are proud that he gave them to us, and we are even happier that we have the caliber of students that are sitting before you. So, thanks very much indeed. Sadly, while I was coming back, or rather when I arrived in Sudan, I have the sadness that one of my closest friends, I'm close to in pharmaceutical sciences, lost his wife, and I know it happened too suddenly that most members of his family are not around. So I was actually at that place when Chris called me, and I'm going back to continue to give support until more of us hear about it and could relieve me. So you permit me not to stay as long as I really want to do. I'll leave you here now and go walk across to his house, but I'll do something else. I whispered to Ikenga and as to the length of time, the duration of this event, the exhibition itself, and he told me it's going to last up until Saturday. So I promised something. I will come back to have an unhurried look at the exhibition, but the much I can do now, is there any tape or something? The much
you have two tasks. So open the exhibition.
That's the point I want to
give out the prizes.
Okay, so fine.
They give a prize that comes before the opening. So you can do that with the
Okay, why not? It will be my honor. It will be my honor.
These are the prizes. We have two certificates here for the winners. Nkpadigbo and Nnamani. So I'll hand over the prize and certificates to the head of the department, who will call them out, and we will be honored by Professor Eze, who will give them the prize directly. Each rack contains 200,000 prize. It is here and now. I told you earlier about prizes that we have never seen. This one you can see. Head of department.
I can't remember touching this kind of emotion. So, thank you very much. We'll see you tomorrow. So, I'm happy to call on first recipient, Kenechukwu Nnamani.
I was looking for Nigeria. What is socializing? Painting. Produced by you. Congratulations.
Chinonso Nkpadigbo.
Congratulations.
Please, group photograph.
Yes. Even I've never seen photograph with a lady fed that before. Please. Wherever I am, she should be.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, you have this one, right? Okay. So, okay. Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor now to declare the exhibition open. I apologize about my special circumstances this evening because of my friend, but we have opened it, and I'm going to come back. It's a promise to have an unhurried look at the fascinating pieces you have put together here. So, so it's my honor now. Really? Come and you did.
There's no the work on inspired about men, about life as a man. You know, growing up, there are a lot of ideologies that have been passed around about how a man should be or what it entails to be a man. You understand? And most of the things I've heard and I've seen were not so pleasing. It was like there's something else I should do because I didn't like the picture of a man that they were showing me. It was always about, okay, get the money and impose or lord over people. You understand? And it built or it stirred up this curiosity in me to start, doing my research, trying to go back to see, okay, before all this
How was then? You would have been parents go back to knowledge from which we regard as the book of all books, and that was where I was able to start getting a better idea of what a man really should look like, and before a man should look like before the deception, which was recorded, and that was what bettered his work, and it's also a way of trying to bring to the notice to everyone about the need to invest in developing our men, because there's a lot about women empowerment, women development, but it seems like the men now are now left out. So we have more.
My practice is very expensive. I like to explore jobs and styles and stuff. And like Obinna said, I also have been drowning in Uli briefly. And that's when this happened. I tried to find a merger between Uli and the use of human forms, which I really love, to tell stories and represent my life. So most of my artworks are about representing my experiences, the influence of my environment on my life and my mind and my thoughts. So child bride, like everybody knows what a child bride is, but this is a metaphorical interpretation of child bride. This is me as an inner child. I'm always a child. Everybody will tell you I always act and look younger than I am. I embrace the inner child so much. I believe so much in what Christ said when he said, only the children will make it to heaven. And I am committed to staying a child. But I'm a child in a world that's forcing me to become a woman and stay an adult. So this is my defense to like the world. I'm going to stay a child, but I'm going to be married to God.
Okay.
Yeah, so like I'm almost completely obsessed with the Agwalagwa symbol you can find, with the spiral. So like it tells you so much about the continuity of life, and I'm going to continue. I'm never going to stop. That's what it means. I'm never going to stop. I'm going to continue to like spiral out of control until everybody's mad with me.
I don't say that. You may be surprised that you are not alone in your worry about how I'm making a point.
Yes.
About the effect of feminist movement on the male gender. In the social sciences, in sociology in particular, there's actually what is now called feminist backlash. And we didn't invent that. In UK, somebody has been working on that to get very important introductory sociology book that is written by Halaram and his colleagues. Feminist backlash is one of the important topics. All he's saying is that you so promoted the needs of women that the boys are now at a huge disadvantage. I mean, in their case, not even our case. So,
First of all, I would like to appreciate Mr. Gerald Chukwuma for giving us this wonderful opportunity. And I pray that God will continue to bless him, bless his heart, and bless his family. I also want to appreciate you for coming to this special event. Yes, I've been introduced on the HOD, Fine and Fly Art, and on that platform I'm standing to talk to us very briefly. Let me talk about anxiety of influence. This department is made what it is by many giant artists that started it and made it what it is today. They include Uchokeke, some of you know him, or must have heard about him, Aniako, Biorudechko, Oloide, Amefune. Many of them I met when I joined in 1988. They have also trained a lot of people who are doing so well out there. But I want to tell you, the department has produced so many people. Those of you in fine art, you are current students. Some of you have graduated, and you are visiting. We have the privilege of having a giant in the name of Professor Nnamani. It's a very special giant in the art world. And I'm building my talk around him. Because if you happen to be the son of someone like Nnamani, who is known globally and a towering figure, you'll understand what it means to suffer anxiety of such an influence. Because you wouldn't know how to even be in such a person's shoes, even though he's your biological father. People will be saying, that's the son of Azikiwe. That's what the poet T.S. Eliot described as anxiety of evidence. Today, we are all children of many giants, especially Professor Nnamani. How do you cope with such a name as somebody that has bettered us in a very special way? I was in UCLA one time. I was in a hall, third hall, where presentations were made. The keynote speaker spoke on L. And when I came out, I was just going for a coffee break when somebody spotted University of Nigeria on my ID. And he engaged me on a speech. We started conversing. Another person came. In less than 15 minutes, in less than 5 minutes, there were over 30 people all around me asking me questions about elements. Especially when I told them that he taught me drawing in my first year and went ahead to supervise my PhD. That is anxiety of influence. In many ways, people will ask you, do you know Professor Gwemes? Do you know Ozamon Izike? Do you know Bjorn Kenechukwu? Do you know Nnamani? You said you are from Nsukka. It is not just your answer that matters. It is whom you are in their shoes. Are you going to be just a shadow? Or can people say, yes, he is a product of UNA, of Nsukka Art School? I'm talking to all of us. Whether you are in fine art or theater arts, like I heard someone introduce, you have your mentors, you have people that has been pathfinders for you. How do you go with those names? I was watching one movie. Some of you may have watched it, Mad X. The last sentence after all the acknowledgement says, where do we go from here? We who have walked this earth, searching for our place. Where do you go from here? You that have walked through the gates of UNN, from Main Gate to Six Flag Gate, from Udin Gate to the other gate. Does it end in graduation? After all the experiences of sign out, all the Okpa you ate in this place, after all the experiences at the stadium, where do you go from here? I'll tell you, mentorship is good. It allows you to have a mentor of your dreams, someone you want to be like in your chosen career. If at this point you don't have a mentor, you better start looking for one, because you cannot make it on your own. The art world is so big, so large, and there are many competition out there. You still need to be guided. You still need someone who will direct your path and introduce you, because they've been there. They have the experience. That is what the Igbo people are known for. Apprenticeship is beyond the degree you have. Because your guy, after training, you would introduce you to all his customers in Japan, in China, and in many places, and help to establish you. You cannot do it on your own. Because I know the majority of you here are having that anxiety of influence. You go there, you look at people who won, what they have painted, you ask yourself, would I ever be like that? You will. But one way to get to it is to have a mentor who motivates you, who directs you, who guides you. And then with a promise on your own path that you will continue to create. Because that is the solution. You can't give up. You will give up easily if you don't have somebody who will tell you no. I did this many times, I failed, but today here I am. You were trained, whether you're in music or theater art or fine art, you are trained to be employers of labor, not to look for employment. Trust me. You may not make mistake to look for employment at the early stage, but use it as a stepping stone, as a soft landing to take off. You just have to continue your creativity. That is the only way the future can celebrate you. In this university, I can tell you one man is worth more than 30 billion naira. I can tell you this same man, if we are over 30 billion people on earth, he is among the 100 people that was selected as the most influential people on earth by Time magazine from this university. And I can tell you that this same man has been selected by Hyundai and Toyota Motors to be the ambassador. I can tell you, this man is highly respected across the globe. If you have such a pathfinder, what are you waiting for? He has shown you that anything is possible. Anything. To those that has won, I believe you should know at this point that you have to be, your target is to be like Gerald, or even better. One thing I like about women, married women, who struggle to go to school, is because their children will always beat their mother's certificate. Not their father, their mother's certificate is always the target of their children. If their mother had only first degree, they would like to beat first degree and have at least master's. If their mother has a PhD, there is no child in that family that will not have a PhD. Try what I said. Look, do your research. Except if more afraid. But otherwise, you have the path already made for you. Don't follow the wrong path. You have miles to go before you sleep and promises to keep. You cannot disappoint those who are coming behind you, because you have those in front of you that have made the road for you. You have to diligently follow the path others have created. But you also have to be innovative to create your own path. I tell those of you who are in fine arts, especially in painting, if you want your signature to be seen globally, if you want your DNA to be read globally, you have to sacrifice 3 things. 1, all the non-traditional tools for painting, remove them from your studio. Find your own. All the known materials for painting, replace them. All the traditional colors, change them. The more you change these things, the more you are creating your own path in this world. Don't go the way of Yahoo or side chick. It will not end well. No Yahoo will make 50 years. Their prayers of their victim will never allow them to make 50 years. The same thing with whatever they call Yahoo. The truth is that survey says that in the next 5 years, by 2030, there will be more women that are not married than men, than those married. What do you bring to the table? It is your skill as an artist. Because with it, you don't have to depend on men. You will use your skill as an artist to even buy a ride for you. If you want, I'll call names of women that have made it on their own from this same department. And I'm sure you find them in music and theater and everywhere. Art will celebrate you if you give your time to it consistently. You will fall, you will rise. Like Joel will say in the Bible, Professor Joel, do not laugh at me, all my enemies, for when I fall, I will rise again. That should be your motivation. To always strive to do better than today. I pray that the God we serve will hear our prayers in Jesus' name.
Thank you very much. Once again, a round of applause for the head with the Prosecutors has tasked me with the responsibility of doing the vote of thanks. I want to say very much big thank you to Mr. Gerald Chukwuma for remaining steadfast with supporting this art prize that he has formed, and we've been having conversations on the future of the art prize beyond the fifth one. In fact, from the fifth one, and it looks very promising. So for those of you in painting currently in final year, there is a bigger, grander ceremony in the pipeline for that. I will say that proudly because I've been having conversations with Gerald Chukwuma for that. I will say thank you very much to Prosecutors Messi for always pushing that this prize will hold. And it will not be an imaginary prize, both in the cash award and everything that has to do with it. Thank you very much, sir. It's because of your steadfastness that some of us today are still standing and looking forward and saying, if you go, Mr. Still pushing. We're going now, what are you doing? You have to still push. And thank you very much, Professor George, Dr. Casey, the Educational Department, Dr. Bara, Professor Bara, sorry. Thank you very much. And every other staff member who was here to support these emerging artists. I always use emerging artists because I'm used to that word as a curator in the art world, emerging artists. And to the prize winners, I look forward to seeing you at the top. I look forward to seeing more of your video work beyond what has been exhibited. And I look forward to you calling me up and saying, oh, is there opportunities for exhibition? Is there opportunity to enter my work for an exhibition? And as you all know, we are open-ended and ready to receive you once you are willing to work. Few months back, Prosecutors was complaining to me that most of the current students are not really interested in working. And you cannot take a horse to the stream and force it to drink also. But our doors are constantly open to help you in any way we can. With that, thank you very much for coming and for taking our time. For those of you who are not in fine arts, TFS students, different places, I think there are some places that it's not a regular occurrence to see them in any of my events in UNN, so far they have my name to it. Thank you very much for always showing up each time my name is mentioned on those banners. Thank you very much, and thank you for coming again. You people can enter to see the exhibition and have a pleasant evening. Good night. Thank you.
Okay, I am Professor George Odo, a professor of painting and contemporary African art history. It's been an exciting evening, at least coming to see what the students we thought has been able to achieve over the years. And I will say that I was particularly pleased, given the few years that they just graduated, what they've been able to put together for this show. And one thing is striking about it, and one thing is also true about
the type of art that they've been able to push. Of course, for you to be able to understand what they have done, one also needs to be a bit familiar with the Nsukka art tradition that places emphasis on intellectualization of the creative process, which encourages the idea of experimentation and exploration of the environment. And you could actually see all these things reflected in many of the exhibits that we have seen. And I'm particularly grateful to Gerald Chukwuma, who initiated this prize award and which has also culminated in this exhibition. This is something that has not been happening in the department for quite some time, but for the few years that this prize has been instituted, I think it has given the students that competitive spirit to be able to make a name for themselves. And we've done our own bit as their lecturers to point them towards the right path. And our prayer is that, beyond Nsukka here, they should also be able to make a name for themselves in the larger art scene or the larger art world, to be able to stay true to their art, pursue their dreams. And the fact that, the history of the department, is replete with names of artists, scholars, art historians, painters, sculptors, graphic designers who have actually made something meaningful, in the visual art practice, introducing what Obechie, characterized as the radical aesthetics that is synonymous with the Nsukka Art School. Our prayer is that we'll still find students who are willing to carry on this torch, who are also willing to, to continue in that tradition of which the Nsukka School is known for. And from what I've seen here, I think we're still on the right track. That dream is not going to die anytime soon. So congrats to the two students who won this prize. But my larger congratulations also goes to the department for actually showing that spirit of professionalism, in visual art practice. And I pray that this will continue to go on for years to come. Thank you so much.
My name is Dr. Ngu Livinus Kenechukwu, the current staff advisor of the students in Fine and Industrial Arts Department. This is a very noble school. Nsukka School is a well-known school throughout Nigeria. A school that has really produced many well-doing artists that are globally known as figures to reckon with. And in a special way, I want to use this opportunity to thank Gerald Chukwuma, who is one of the well-known figures in Nsukka Art School, that single-handedly had started this competition for up to 3-4 years now, and he has maintained it. Since I started as a lecturer here, I have not seen any instituted competition that have functioned well like his own. Yes, it is not the only one that the department has, but this has been the only one that the students that have been involved in the competition that eventually won it had all collected their prizes. There's no one that can say, I've not gotten my prize. Unlike the other competitions that we have witnessed, so many of them after the euphoria that they won the competition would end up regretting why they involved themselves in the competition first. Because it will take their time coming back to school, struggling to go to from one office to another, and at the end, the person will not succeed in getting the prize. So I've seen so many of my students disappointed in that manner. But today, Kenechukwu and Chinonso, who are the two people that are being celebrated today, they all collected their prizes in our own presence. And the previous winners have been Elijah and others that won this prize. I witnessed them collecting their prizes too. So I can boldly say that Gerald is making a very laudable effort to promote the image of this department, and it is only God that can reward him. Coming to the students that are involved in this, especially those in painting, I encourage them to see this as a stepping stone, as a ladder from where they could climb higher. It is not easy for somebody to come and show you the way. And when a ladder has been placed for you and you refuse climbing, then it is not the fault of the person that provided the ladder. It is now your fault. When you have been shown the path and you refuse making judicious use of it, then you are to be blamed. So I thank Gerald so much, and I pray that the students will utilize this opportunity and be among the notable figures that we, the Nsukka Art School, both staff and students, are celebrating today. Like our father in creativity, El Anasi, that globally, there's nobody that have known at all artists in Africa, or artists from Africa, that wouldn't say that El stands out among all others. No matter the country the person is coming from, no matter the school the person is from, El stands out. And it is this Nsukka Art School that have made him like that. And we have other notable figures. We have Ololoide, may his soul rest in peace. We have too many others that cannot just be mentioned. And they are figures that if we really look forward to following their footsteps, we will not be disappointed in our practices as artists. So I encourage both staff and students, despite the challenges we are facing in Nigeria, to always strive to at least showcase ourselves as artists, not just mere artists, but artists that can showcase their creativity and be proud of whatever we have produced, especially making ways that are unique and not copying from wherever we see any idea, because we don't have that trust, that confidence in ourselves. I encourage us to be ourselves, create and make Nsukka School proud, so that the name and the legacy that have been left for us will continue to blossom and never die. In Jesus' mighty name.
I live like a champion. You better be the champion. You better be the champion. Banner on the banner.
Judge, I see me flow. That's why I'm shining, I'm flying, I'm doing right. See me doing nice. Ni baraka na upendo wa baba na mama nasema. Niliyoyapita ni noma, mpaka nilishindwa kusoma. Ni ving'ora, hatuna mani maskani.